In addition to lists and dictionaries, Python also includes two other built-in data collections that have their own unique features and use cases. Those are tuples and sets. There's also a special form of a set called a frozenset that we'll look into a bit later. A tuple is essentially the same as a list with one exception. It is immutable. This means that it cannot be altered after it's been declared. Therefore, tuples are very useful for storing information in a list that you don't want to change. So it's a very specific use case. Like a list, tuples are ordered, so you can easily iterate through them using an index. You create a tuple the same way that you create a list, using comma-separated values. However, instead of using square brackets, you use parentheses. Alternatively, you also have the flexibility to declare a tuple using a series of comma-separated values without parentheses, where the parentheses are effectively implied. So let's take a look at some examples here. So I'll start off here by just declaring a simple tuple. I'll just call it tuple1, and I'm going to use parentheses here. So I'll just give it different values, and these can be of any type. They can be strings, numbers, booleans, whatever. So I'll just say item1, and then I'll go through and just add some other stuff. So item2, and maybe the number 23, item 4, and maybe a Boolean value here. I can also declare a tuple without using the parentheses explicitly. So just giving it a list of values here. So we'll say item1. And notice that I can use double quotations or single quotations. Both is fine. Just like that. So if I run this and then want to examine the values, maybe I'll just say print tuple1, tuple2. We can see that it's going to print them both out. So very flexible in terms of how you declare it. But again, what's important here is that they are tuples. So if we want to check the type of this object we just created, right? Python will tell us the type of this is a tuple, and the values are immutable, meaning we can't change them after they've been declared. So for example, if I reference maybe a particular, let's go ahead and add a new cell here. If I reference a particular entry, so if I say tuple 1, and I want to extract the first item, so that's position 0, like this, it will return item 1. If I then try to redeclare this by setting that equal to a new value, like this, it's going to throw an error that says type error, tuple object does not support item assignment, meaning that once it's been instantiated, once that has been created, I cannot actually change the value. So again, really specific use case, but very, very useful for us in different situations. Now, a set has shared characteristics of both a list and a dictionary. Like a list, a set is a collection of information. However, like keys in a dictionary, sets can only contain unique values. Sets are an unordered collection, which means that the elements in a set cannot be accessed using an index. Instead, you just reference the unique value itself, like a dictionary key. So that's what makes it similar to a dictionary. Sets are useful when you want to store a collection of unique items and you need to ensure that they are all unique. Now, you declare a set in one of two ways. First, you can use a set keyword followed by a pair of parentheses and square brackets enclosing a series of comma-separated values. So you actually use parentheses and brackets. Alternatively, you can just enclose a series of comma-separated values inside of a pair of curly brackets, similar to declaring a dictionary, but this time you're not going to do key value pair orientation there. Note that if you add any non-unique values to a set, the duplicate values will simply be ignored by Python, which is helpful. So let's go ahead now and declare a set using the set keyword. So we're just going to first give the set a name. So I'll call this set1, and then I'm going to use the keyword set followed by a pair of parentheses, and then inside of that, a pair of square brackets, and inside of that, a list of comma-separated values. So if I just say 1, 2, 3, and then 1 again, and I go ahead and output its values, you'll notice that I gave it duplicate values. I entered 1 twice, and Python went ahead and just interpreted this and ignored the duplicate values and only returned the unique values because, again, I declared it as a set explicitly. I can also use the curly bracket approach. So if I say set2 and set this equal to a pair of curly brackets this time, and again, instead of entering in key value pairs like a dictionary, I just give it a list of comma separated values. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 7, 6, whatever. Just I can enter in as many duplicates as I want. And I know that Python is going to just discard the duplicates and only return the unique values to me. Super, super useful for a wide range of situations. Of course, we can always check if we're concerned at all if this is the correct type. I can say, well, go ahead and check the type of set2 for me, and Python does confirm it is a set object. And we can also go about adding and removing values from the set after it's created. So it's mutable in that we can add and remove values. So to do that, there is a method called add. So I can just say set2 dot add, and then maybe want to add in the number 9 into that, as well as the number 10. And then I just examine set2 again, and we can see here it just appended 9 and 10 there in the order that I add them. And if I want to remove anything, same idea, set2 dot remove 3, set2 dot remove 4, and then examine its contents again. We can see it went ahead and pulled 3 and 4 right out of there. So sets are super useful in situations where we need to make sure that everything is unique. So thinking about things like unique identifiers, right? I don't want to have duplicates in there, customer ID numbers, anything like that. Sets are perfect for them. Now, a frozen set is essentially, it's a set, but it's essentially combining this concept of a set and a tuple together. So a frozen set is a set that is immutable, unordered, and contains only unique values. So you can think of a frozen set as a set that is constant and only has unique values that cannot change after it's been created. So there's situations, very specific situations where you might want to use this. Let's say that we're trying to keep a track of all of the states in the United States, right? I mean, that's something that we just have to declare once, and we don't want it to change. We don't need it to change unless there's some sort of major change to the number of states we have in the US, right? That's pretty much constant. So a frozen set is perfect for that situation. So to declare a frozen set, it's similar to how we declared a set, but instead of using the keyword set, we're going to use the keyword frozen set. So I'm going to say states here, and I'm going to set that equal to frozen set. And then again, a pair of parentheses, and inside of that, a pair of square brackets. And then maybe I just want to put in a list of different state abbreviations: North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia, Pennsylvania, New York. I put them in there, and once I run this, it's locked. I can't change it. So if I say states, there's the values. If I try to add something to this, so if I say states add and try to append in New Jersey, it's going to throw an error. Doesn't have any add attribute. I can't add anything. I can't remove anything. It is set in stone. So really, really useful in situations where I need to maintain a unique list and I need to make sure that the list does not change.